Okay, we're going to look at this diagram for deck stairs. And we're going to start up here, and it shows that it's angled stair stringer connector. And then we're going to go down here, and it's greater than 10 inches. We have closed risers for limit opening so that 4-inch diameter spear will not pass through. And we're going to look right here to extend stringer support post as guard post if stair guard is required. We're going to look here at these bolts, 1/2 inch diameter bolts with washers. And we see that it's less than 7 3/4 inches, with our landing being more than 3 feet. Less than 6 feet for SYP cut stringers, less than 13 feet minus 3 inches for solid SYP stringers. And greater than 2 6 inches. All stringers greater than 2 by 12 and greater than 5 inches, greater than 12 inches or below the frost depth, optimal post greater than 4 by 4 to extend stringer length, bolt post to stringer. Deck stair handrails. Handrail requirements for deck stairs are the same as for all other stairs. Handrails should be provided for stairs with 4 or more risers, including the top and bottom risers. The top of the handrail should be between 34 and 38 inches above a sloped line connecting the stair treads. The grasping surface should be one of the approved handrail sizes and shapes. The commonly seen 2x4 deck handrail is not an approved handrail size and shape, and is therefore deficient as a safety hazard. Balusters for deck stair handrails that serve as guards should be spaced so that a 4 3/8 inch diameter spear will not pass through, and should be attached such that they can resist a 50 PSF load. 2 ring shank nails or 2 screws are recommended for attaching balusters. Note the stair baluster spacing is different from the guard baluster spacing. And we look here at this diagram for handrail shapes. We'll start from the left and work our way to the right. We have type 1 circular handrail. It's circular, has a diameter between 1 and 1/4 inch and 2 inches. Then we'll go over here and look at the other one, type 1 non-circular handrail. A plus B plus C plus D between 4 inches and 6 1/4 inches. E equals less than 2 1/4 inch. Then we'll look over here at type 2 handrail, finger recess on both sides. And we look here and it says greater than 1 3/4 inch, less than 3/4 inch, less than 7/8 of an inch, greater than 3/8 of an inch, and greater than 5/16 of an inch. Okay, Let's look at this diagram of deck stair guards and handrails. We'll go to number 1, which is right here. The guard height is greater than 36 inches. We'll go to number 2, show you right here. The stair guard height is greater than 34 inches and less than 38 inches measured to the line connecting the treads. Number 3. Stair guard must continue for stairs less than 30 inches above the floor because stairs are one flight with no landing. Number 4. Right there. Guard opening must not pass 4-inch diameter spear. Number 5. Stair guard opening must not pass 4 3/8 inches diameter spear. Number 6. Intersection of bottom rail, riser, and tread must not pass 6 inches in diameter spear. And we'll look over here, and we can see that we have flight 1 with our landing, and then some stairs, and then our landing, and then some stairs on flight number 2, and then our landing. The handrail is not required when a flight of stairs is less than 3 risers. Guard not required when flight of stairs is less than 30 inches above the adjacent surface. The handrail height may exceed 38 inches here when transition fitting is used. Deck guards. Improperly installed and deteriorated deck guards are a common cause of deck-related injuries. Deck guards and handrails that serve as guards should not Deck guards and handrails that serve as guards should not fail when a single concentrated load of 200 PSF is applied in any direction at any point along the top of the guard. Home inspectors are not required to test guards for compliance with this requirement. Inspection consists of the presence of construction details as described below. A guard is usually required when a walking surface is more than 30 inches above a surface below. Deck guards should be at least 36 inches above the deck walking surface, 42 inches in California and some other jurisdictions. Deck guard posts should be at least 4x4s that have not been notched. Posts should be spaced not more than 6 feet on center. The ideal post attachment would be to a connector that is bolted to a deck joist. This method avoids the problem of posts secured to the rim joist that are secured using nails, which are subject to withdrawal over time. Connecting the post to a deck rim joist is considered acceptable if the two 1/2 inch diameter bolts with washers on each end are used. Posts that are notched and posts secured using screws or nails are no longer acceptable and should be reported as deficient. Deck guard balusters should be spaced so that a 4-inch diameter spear will not pass. Deck guards sometimes uses cables, decorated metal, and other horizontal components as as the guard fill-in components. Home inspectors should evaluate these horizontal guard components and report as a safety hazard if they could be climbable. Let's look at this diagram showing deck guards. Attach balusters and 2x4 cross members with number 1 is going to be number 8 wood screw at the top and the bottom, and number 2 8D deformed shank nails, and that's going to be right there and right there. We see that there's less than 6 foot between the posts, including the stairs, and that more than 4x4, greater than 4x4 post, not notched, bolted, and secured to the framing. We said that the guard is required if it's more than 30 inches, more than 36 inches, and that the opening should not pass 4-inch diameter sphere. That's on deck guards. Let's move down here and we'll look at the diagram and the picture. And in this picture, it shows that there's a deck guard post improperly notched. We'll go over here to the diagram. Guard post connection to the rim joist, deck floor joist parallel to the rim joist. We're going to start right here, and we'll see that there's 1/2 inch diameter bolts with washers. And we'll see that there's the deck floor joist. There's hold down anchors. And that there's blocking attached to the joist with 10D deformed shank nails, both top and bottom. We come over here to our rim joist, and we see that the bolt and the nut and the washer, there's greater than 2 inches, greater than 2.5 inch, and less than 5 inch, one vertical, and that there's more than 2 inches, and that we have our guard post, which is greater than a 4x4. We'll come up here and we'll look at another diagram that shows the guard post connection to rim joist at a deck floor joist. Looks pretty similar to what we just looked at, but right here we'll look at it a different way. We'll see that the guard post is greater than 4x4, and that we have greater than 2 inches, greater than 2.5 inches, and less than 5 inches. We have greater than 2 inches. We have our rim joist, our deck floor joist, and then we see that there's 1/2 inch diameter bolts with washers. Deck framing. Deck framing issues include floor joist span and joist attachment, flooring material span and attachment, and deck bracing. Determining if floor joists are overspanned is a technically exhaustive procedure and is out of scope for a home inspection. However, home inspectors should be aware of the basic joist span rules to identify joists that may be too long. Joist span tables for interior floor joists do not apply to deck floor joists because deck joists get wet and can deflect more than dry joist. We're going to wrap this up for this session, but we're going to end it on this diagram of deck joist and cantilever span. We see that we have a typical deck joist spans on center spacing with southern pine. There's no cantilever. And we have 2x6 at 12 inches, 9 foot by 11 inches, and at 16 inches, 9 foot 0 inches, and at 24 inches, 7 foot 7 inches. And for 2x8, it would be at 12 inches by 13 foot by 1 inch, and at 16 inches by 11 foot and 10 inches, and at 24 inches by 9 foot and 8 inches. Then if we're using 2x10s, it's at 12 inches by 18 foot by 0 inches, and at 16 inches by 16 foot by 6 inches, and at 24 inches, we're doing 13 foot 6 inches. And we see here with the cantilever, there's optional cantilever with a maximum span, deck joist span divided by 4. Deck floor joist should be attached to the deck ledger and to beams using galvanized steel or stainless steel joist hangers. Joist hangers should be the appropriate size. A joist hanger, one size smaller than the joist, is often adequate. For example, a 2x6 joist hanger may be adequate for a 2x8 joist. Refer to the joist hanger manufacturer's instructions for information about appropriate joist hangers for a particular deck. Deck floor joist may bear on a 2x2 ledger strip in most jurisdictions. If 3 16D nails are installed in the ledger under each joist. Okay, and we're going to look at this deck joist attachment to the beam options diagram. We're going to start from the left and work our way over to the right. We see here at 3 that there's 8D deformed shank nails that are toe-nailed, 2 of them, on one side of each joist and 1 on the other side, used only if deck is attached to the house. See how they toe-nailed it in on each side? And then we have an approved mechanical fastener installed per manufacturer's instructions. And right here, we see that the joist hanger installed per manufacturer's instructions, joist flush with top of the beam. And right here, the joist installed on the ledger, 3 16D nails under each joist, 1, 2, 3, joist flush with the top of the beam. Deck floor joists sometimes extend beyond the support beam and are described as cantilevered. The maximum recommended cantilever extension for deck floor joist is the floor joist span distance before the cantilever divided by 4. For example, the maximum cantilever space if the joist is 12 feet long before the cantilever is 12 divided by 4 is 3 feet. Deck wood flooring usually consists of 2x4, 2x6, 5 divided by 4 times 4, or 5 divided by 4 times 6 lumber. Alternative deck flooring materials are becoming increasingly common. Wood deck flooring should be attached to floor joists using screws, although ring shank nails are also acceptable. Wood deck flooring should be spaced about 1/8 of an inch apart between boards and where boards meet over joist to allow for expansion and for drainage. Nails and screws that are sunk into the wood flooring create water traps that will hasten deterioration of the flooring. Manufacturer's instructions give an attachment of alternative deck flooring materials. Deck flooring materials are usually installed perpendicular to the deck floor joist. In this configuration, 2-inch thick wood flooring will span floor joists spaced 24 inches on center, and 5 divided by 4 wood flooring will span floor joists spaced 16 inches on center. Deck flooring materials that are installed in a 45-degree diagonal pattern relative to the deck floor joist may span a distance beyond their recommended distance. This is especially true of alternative deck flooring materials and when flooring materials are installed on the deck floor joist spaced at 24 inches on center.